Hello, and welcome back to Typing Tuesday. I hope you all had a chance to practice typing last week and getting faster each time. Today, we are going to talk about cyberbullying and how you can recognize if someone is bullying another person online. The following video will go over some examples of cyberbullying, so let's see if you can tell the difference between bullying and not bullying. After that will be a short Anime Club announcement, followed by This Week in History. See you all next week and have a nice day.
Cyberbullying happens when someone posts or shares harmful or mean content about someone else on the internet, social media, apps, texts, video games, or digital devices. Take this example. Maddie took a screenshot of her classmate Shonda's photo from social media. She then used an app to make Shonda look like a monster in the photo and added some insulting words. After sharing it in a group text, some classmates replied with hurtful, mean comments about Shonda. Others laughed and shared it with others. Is it cyberbullying? Yes. Maddie wanted to embarrass Shonda, and by doing so, she encouraged others to do the same. What can Shonda do? Take screenshots of the cyberbullying. It's painful, but Shonda needs to document what happened in case it happens again. Shonda can also block the group texts. She should tell what happened to an adult she trusts. Together, they may want to report what happened to the school. How about this one? Malcolm plays multiplayer video games online with people he only knows through gaming. A few of them have added him on social media. One player, Lucas123X, or Lucas, used to chat with him a lot while playing, asking a bunch of personal questions. Malcolm answered and didn't think much about it. But one day, Lucas posted all kinds of personal information about Malcolm on social media, mixed in with lies and comments about his ethnicity and gaming skills. Is it cyberbullying? Yes. Lucas was trying to harm Malcolm and his reputation. What can Malcolm do? He can take screenshots of the posts and block Lucas on social media. What Lucas did may have also violated the rules of the social media site and the gaming platform. Malcolm should report Lucas's behavior to the sites. He can also avoid a game if he knows Lucas is one of the players. Malcolm can tell an adult about what happened. Together, they can help determine if they should report it to the police. And remember, never give out personal information to strangers. Here's another one. Jaden and his friend Dylan were having fun, kidding around after school. Jaden took photos and posted them online. One photo showed Dylan making a weird face, which they both found funny, but other kids who saw it started posting mean comments about Dylan's face in the photo. Dylan was upset by the photo and the comments. Is it cyberbullying? No. If Jaden didn't mean any harm and he's willing to delete the photo, it is not cyberbullying. If Jaden doesn't delete the photo after seeing the negative comments being posted about his friend Dylan, he could be contributing to cyberbullying though. What can Dylan do? He can ask Jaden to remove the post and, in the future, to ask permission before sharing photos of him. If Jaden is a friend, he'll respect Dylan's request, apologize, and delete the photo. For more information, visit stopbullying.gov.
Hello, this is Mr. Simonson, co-host of the Washington Middle School Anime Club, along with Mr. Vallier, letting you know what we're going to be showing tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be showing an episode of Gate, kind of appropriate being that Veterans Day is going to be this weekend, and we show a military-themed anime. A portal appears in Tokyo's Ginza district and outpours an invading force of dragons and orcs. The Japanese government sends a small group of soldiers of the Japanese Self-Defense Force, that's the JSDF, to push back the invaders to their alternate world beyond the gate. So it's going to be an interesting episode where these mythical beasts now have to take on modern military technology. So hopefully see you tomorrow. Also, on Thursday, it's the Marine Corps birthday. Woo! 1 huzzah. 2 huzzahs. And 3 huzzahs. Excellent. This Thursday, 10th of November 2023, marks the 248th birthday of the United States Marine Corps. If you know anyone serving in the Corps who has served, please wish them a happy birthday. They will know why. All right, Semper Fi, United States Marine Corps, and that's all I've got, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you very much for viewing. Hello and welcome once again to another installment of Mr. Simonton's This Week in History. November 5th, remembered as Guy Fawkes Day in Britain for the anniversary of the failed gunpowder plot to blow up the Houses of Parliament and King James I in 1605. Eighth graders will remember that King James I is one of those people that helped to sponsor the Jamestown colony. This is a mask used by people in rebellion today. You'll still see it in protests among the streets to hide their identity. They wear this mask. And this is Parliament, and that's what Guy Fawkes looked like. November 6, 1860, Abraham Lincoln is elected as the 16th United States President and the first Republican. He received 180 of 303 possible electoral votes, and 40% of the popular vote. 40% would not get you president today. November 7th, 1917. This one has far-reaching implications. The Russian Bolsheviks overthrew the provisional government of Alexander Kerensky in Petrograd. The Council of the People's Commissars was then established as the new government of Russia, with Nikolai Lenin, that's him here on the right-hand side, as chairman, Leon Trotsky as foreign commissar, and Joseph Stalin as the commissar of nationalities. Now, this revolution had like I mentioned, far-reaching implications. For one thing, the leader of Russia, the Tsar, and his entire family were killed, and then also Russia left the First World War, which allowed Germany to concentrate just on the Western Front, which made the war last even longer. November 7, 1944, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt was elected to an unprecedented fourth term, defeating Thomas Dewey. Roosevelt, though, died less than a year later on April 12, 1945, so he didn't even get to see the conclusion of the Second World War, something which he fought so diligently for. November 8, 1519, Hernan Cortez conquered Mexico. After landing the Yucatan Peninsula in April with about 300 troops, Cortez and his troops marched into the interior of Mexico and to the Aztec capital and captured the Aztec Emperor Montezuma. It did not turn out very well for Montezuma. And one wonders how, with a population of about 25 million in the area, that Cortez was able to defeat them with only 300 troops of his own. Well, it's because the Aztecs had really annoyed many of the people around there, so Cortez found many willing allies to overthrow the Aztecs. November 9th and 10th, 1938, Kristallnacht, the Night of the Broken Glass, occurred in Germany as Nazi mobs burned synagogues, which are Jewish places of worship, and vandalized Jewish shops and homes. And this was done in retaliation for the assassination of a German diplomat by a German Jew in Paris. And this was the result. You kind of saw the writing on the wall, and this was just going to continue on through Germany all the way into 1945. November 10th, 1775. It's the birthday of the United States Marine Corps. It was established as part of the U.S. Navy, and it became a separate unit on July 11th, 1789. So if you know anybody in your family that is currently serving the Marines or was a Marine, call them up, wish them a happy birthday. They'll appreciate that you did. November 10th, 1775, the establishment of the United States Marine Corps. Wish them a happy birthday. They'll totally get it. November 10th, 1942, following the British victory at El Alamein in North Africa during the Second World War, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill stated, and this is one of my favorite quotes, he definitely, like John F. Kennedy, had the ability to turn a phrase. This is not the end, it's not even the beginning of the end, but it is perhaps the end of the beginning. And here is that speech.
This is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end. But it is perhaps the end of the beginning.
And the war had several more years to go, concluding on September 2nd, 1945. November 11th, 1918, at 5 a.m. in Marshal Foch, he's a French general, railway car in the forest of Compagnon, the armistice, or the end of the war between the Allied and the Central Powers, was signed, silencing the guns of World War I, effective at 11 a.m., the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. In many places in Europe, a moment of silence in memory of the millions of fallen soldiers is still observed. Now, with some sense of irony and some sense of revenge, if you will, when France surrendered to Nazi Germany in 1940, Adolf Hitler made sure that the surrender agreement was signed in the very same railway car. So I'm pretty sure he took a great deal of pleasure in showing up the French on that. One of the things that came out of it was a poem written by Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae. He was a Canadian physician serving with the British Army. When he learned out that he wound up losing his friend, Lieutenant Alexis Helmer, he wrote this poem. In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. And of this day, the red poppy is worn, especially at least in Great Britain, as a memorial to those that lost their lives during the Great War. Notable birthdays. 6th of November. Oh, we got to do this thing here. Come on. Oh, it's not going to come up. No, I guess not. All right. American conductor John Philip Sousa, born on the 6th of November. He's born in Washington, D.C., best known for his rousing marches, including the Stars and Stripes Forever, Semper Fidelis, and El Capitan. On the 6th of November, all you b-ball fans, this is your guy. He's the inventor of basketball, Dr. James Naismith. He's born in Almonte, Ontario, Canada. After he'd received his degree at McGill University in Canada, he came to the United States and was actually working for the YMCA. And he was given a direction by the director of the YMCA to come up with a sport that could be played indoors, needed a minimal amount of equipment, and also was in low contact, and something that could also measure activity. And this is the game he came up with in 2 weeks, and he only had 13 basic rules. So the NBA owes a great deal of debt to this gentleman. Next up, on the 7th of November, Polish chemist Marie Curie was born in Warsaw, Poland in 1903. She and her husband received the Nobel Prize for Physics for the discovery of the element radium. Next, on the 4th of November, we have Sir Edmund Halley. He's an astronomer and mathematician who was born in London, England. He sighted the great comet of 1682, now famously called Halley's Comet, and foretold of its reappearance in 1758. Halley's Comet appears once each generation, with the average time between appearances about 76 years, and won't be visible again until 2061. So I saw the last one, so I'm not going to get to see this one. Next up, on the 8th of November, we have Bram Stoker. He is the author of the book Dracula, one of the most macabre villains in all of literary history, and he was born in Dublin, Ireland. Next, also on the 8th of November, we have Gone with the Wind author Margaret Mitchell. She was born in Atlanta, Georgia. A romantic novel about the American Civil War sold over 10 million copies, and was translated into 30 languages, and was made into one of the most popular movies of all time. She won a Pulitzer Prize in 1937 for the novel, her only book. Talk about a one and done. Well, if you're going to strike gold, that's the way to do it. On the 10th of November, we already talked about this gentleman, Martin Luther. Reformation founder Martin Luther was born in Eisenbahn, Saxony. In 1517, he tacked his 95 Theses to the door of the Wittenberg's Castle Church, asserting the Bible should be the sole authority of the church and calling for the reformation of the Roman Catholic Church. therefore starting the Protestant Reformation and the split in the Roman Catholic Church. Lastly, on the 11th of November, probably a perfect time, Veterans Day, we have World War II General George S. Patton. He was born in San Gabriel, California. He's a SoCal gentleman. In 1942, he led the Allied task force that landed at Casablanca in North Africa. He commanded the United States 7th Army during the invasion of Sicily, and after D-Day, he led the United States 3rd Army across France and into Germany, and eventual victory. And that concludes this presentation of Mr. Simonton's This Week in History. And as I sign off, I'm going to leave you with Semper Fidelis, which is only fitting because John Philip Sousa was a Marine himself. So I hope you enjoyed This Week in History, and we'll see you again later. Forgot to do this. There we go.